I saw Jennifer Pan's case. Yeah. No, yeah, that guy's really freaky. There's one case that I saw that's really freaky, but it's not so much of a murder. It was like the Cecile Hotel in LA. And it was like some girl, and then there's footage of her in the elevator, and she's doing that like finger thing. Elisa Lam. That one is really freaky. We still don't know what happened, huh? That one's really weird. It's on Netflix, yeah, but it's not so much like, well, it's technically a crime case. We don't know what really happened.
On the 2nd of August, 2017, at approximately 5:15 p.m., 21-year-old Savannah Gold left her parents' home and drove to San Jose Boulevard in Jacksonville, Florida. She had a 5:30 shift at the Bonefish Grill, a casual seafood restaurant where she worked as a waitress. But on this occasion, she never showed up. It was a fairly quiet Wednesday afternoon at the diner. Her absence wasn't too much of a strain, so the on-duty supervisor simply took her hours off the roster for that day and thought nothing else of it. Suspicions only arose roughly 1 hour and 15 minutes after Savannah had left the house, as her father received a text message from her phone number.
Hey, I just wanted to tell you and Mom I met a really great guy and we are running away together. I love him and we are leaving tonight. I'll call you later when we get to where we are going. There are so many typos that it almost feels like it was forced. Hi, DK.
Savannah's older brother also received a text 43 seconds later.
Hey, I quit. I'm leaving with my boyfriend. I can't do this shit anymore, I'm guessing. I'm fine. Just want to get away. Sus.
Although both texts came from Savannah's number, her family knew right away that something wasn't right.
Yeah,
she had just left the house in what appeared to be very high spirits, but now proclaimed to be running away with an unidentified man without packing so much as a change of clothes. Not only that, but the text messages were riddled with errors and composed in a completely different way to how she would normally write.
I don't even know this case.
Her phone was switched off when they tried calling just minutes after receiving the texts, so they immediately called her place of work and found out that she hadn't shown up. It was at that point they called police and filed a missing persons report. Savannah had been gone for less than 2 hours. Roughly 40 minutes later, her car was found unlocked and abandoned in the Bonefish Grill parking lot, and the only thing missing was her phone. Her wallet, ID, and a number of other valuable items had not been taken. Investigators went through the parking lot surveillance tapes and discovered what would then become the primary piece of evidence for the case. The majority of footage remains undisclosed to the public, but a detailed description of what occurred has already been released. What we know is that Savannah parked her car and stepped out of the vehicle at exactly 5:31 p.m. She then walked over to another vehicle and conversed with the occupant for 14 minutes through the driver's side window. She then got into the back seat of said vehicle at 5:45 p.m. 14 seconds later, the car began to shake sporadically as if some type of struggle was occurring inside.
Oh my God.
The rear door swung open 3 times, but was immediately and forcefully shut each time. It appeared as though someone was attempting to get out, but couldn't. This lasted for 49 seconds until the vehicle suddenly stopped moving. A male figure was then seen getting out and proceeded to walk over to Savannah's car that was 20 feet away. The surveillance was grainy, and the person could not be identified from the footage
CCTV,
alone. All that police could ascertain was that he had short brown hair and was roughly 5'11". The unidentified person reached into Savannah's car and took out what police believed was her phone. He then slashed the front tire with a knife before walking back to his own vehicle. He got in and drove away from the scene at exactly 6:04 p.m. Savannah was never seen exiting the car. This was a crucial piece of evidence, and essentially all investigators had to go on. They had to find out who the man was in the video, and fast, but they also had to be careful in how they conducted their investigation. They couldn't let anyone find out they had this footage in their possession, as knowing this information could allow a suspect to alter their alibi to fit with the evidence. This would take a significant advantage away from investigators during interrogation, and would hinder their ability to build a case to a considerable degree. Over the following following 2 days, investigators briefly interviewed all the staff at the Bonefish Grill. For the most part, these encounters consisted of just 3 questions. When was the last time you saw Savannah? Do you know where she is?
Savannah.
And is there anything you know that could help with our investigation? Within 48 hours, they had 3 potential suspects, whose names were then ran through the motor insurance database. The first suspect didn't have a license. The second suspect owned a bright red 2001 Jeep Cherokee, while the third suspect was registered to a 2012 silver Chevy Malibu, an identical match to the vehicle seen on surveillance. His name was Lee Rodarte. He was 28 years old and was both the manager and head chef at the Bonefish Grill. Coincidentally, he was the first person to be interviewed at the diner about Savannah's disappearance, where he told investigators that he hadn't seen her in about 3 weeks and knew nothing of her current whereabouts. It was only from his co-workers that police discovered he was having an on and off relationship with Savannah for the last 8 months, despite it being against company policy. From what investigators could gather, this was a very popular individual, rising fast through the ranks of his chosen profession. He was known for his charm and charisma amongst his colleagues, and also had a lot of success when it came to the opposite sex. On all accounts, his life seemed to be going very well, but he was now the prime suspect in a kidnapping investigation, and the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office planned their next steps in meticulous detail. At around 5:15 p.m. on August 5th, police arrested Rodarte while midway through his shift at work. They told him it was for an outstanding traffic warrant and took him to the JSO Police Department.
Can you do me a favor? I'm going to have you take that apron off, too, just to kind of get it right there. I'll set it right here. You can go ahead and have a seat for me real quick. I'll be right back, okay?
Yes, sir.
The officer said he would be right back, yet Lee was left to sit there for 90 minutes with nothing but his own thoughts to keep him company. Now, think of yourself in his position, and presume you were guilty of whatever happened to Savannah, and that whatever happened was something truly horrific. In the present moment, you have just been arrested for an outstanding traffic warrant, yet you were interviewed the day before about your co-worker's disappearance. 1,000,001 things will be running through your mind about what could happen next, and as each second ticks by, the anxiety this will cause will begin to fester and slowly intensify. However, the optimism of uncertainty would still be present. There would still be hope, but this hope is about to be dashed.
Oh yeah, sorry. I always forget about subtitles. There you go.
The sound of the door opening would have been a pleasant relief from the monotonous cycle of Rodarte's own thoughts, yet this brief moment of alleviation would have instantly converted to shock as Detective Ray Reeves walked through the door, the same investigator who had interviewed him about Savannah the day prior.
Hey, man.
How you doing?
Good, good. You remember me from the other day, Detective Reeves? Okay.
It would have been at this moment that Lee realized his situation was far more severe than he was hoping. The relative optimism he would have felt during the initial 90 minutes on his own will now be gone, which in turn will greatly magnify the contrasting sense of fear he will now be experiencing.
This is my partner, Detective Staley. She was interviewing some of the other folks, waiters and other staff people the other day, so she didn't get a chance to come in at the time. I wanted to talk to you, or actually we wanted to. You want some more water?
Please. Actually, would it be all right to use the restroom one more time?
Yeah.
Please?
Come on, sorry. You bet. I'll walk out there.
Okay.
Please. That'd be all right.
Yeah. You got water?
That's so awkward.
Like I said, I want to kind of go over some stuff. I know we talked the other day just for a few minutes.
No, I think she's just looking at pictures. She just zoomed in on like a picture of a girl.
Oh, there we go. Somebody else wants to talk. There we go. I wanted to talk to you about Savannah. So I just had a couple of things that came up that I wanted to ask you about specifically that didn't seem to line up. So I wanted to come down and talk to you. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Have you drank any alcohol today? Any drugs today?
I took an Adderall that my buddy gave me
Okay.
because I was there so late last night. I
Yeah,
came
yeah.
in and was super tired. Like, here, take this.
Okay. Adderall.
Yeah.
And do you normally take that?
Nah, it was. I've taken one a long time ago. Like,
Okay.
I wouldn't say high school, a little bit after high school, but it's been years.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect. I appreciate that. All right. So, Savannah, you said that you knew her and you guys had, you knew her from work. I mean, just kind of fill me in with that. How long have you known her?
Like I said,
The detective starts off with an open-ended question. This gives the suspect total freedom and flexibility in how they wish to respond. It's commonly believed that people with nothing to hide are likely to give a short and concise response to these types of questions. For example, if Lee was completely unconcerned with what was going on, he could respond in 3 short
Miranda.
sentences. I met her from work. I've known her for 2 years. We dated for a bit. To the contrary, if an individual does have something to hide, they are more likely to give a lengthy and detailed response. The simple reasoning behind this is that they are seeking approval. Imagine yourself in a job interview and you're asked an open-ended question, such as, "Tell me about yourself." You would feel the need to be thorough in order to please your potential employer. The psychological premise is exactly the same with regard to police interrogations, albeit under completely different circumstances. Guilty subjects will see the interrogator as an imminent threat and will therefore attempt to appease this threat to prevent further aggression. Truthful subjects will have no fear nor concern with regard to the same element. They would see the interrogator as a mere inconvenience as opposed to a threat.
I've known her obviously since she started working there. I would say probably about 8 months ago
Yeah.
or so, we started hanging out outside of work. And at the time, I had a girlfriend. But I kind of, we kind of connected, me and Savannah. So we
So
hung
you
out a little bit here
cheated
and
on your
there.
girlfriend?
Got pretty close. We come from, I guess,
Disgusting.
somewhat similar backgrounds, I guess you should say.
Okay.
She didn't have it the best growing up, neither did I. So we kind of connected, hung out for a little while, and then she started using drugs a lot.
Okay.
Now, I used them with her, not the same drugs that she used all the time, but I did them with her a couple times, and then she started to get heavy into them, and
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
so I kind of just tried to take a step back and put things off. Probably a month or so ago, I saw Savannah at work, and she looked healthy again. She gained a little bit of weight, and just friendly talk at work. Telling her, hope everything's been good. And she told me, that I guess she did a lot of drugs and ended up in the hospital. She ended up missing I want to say a couple of days, 3 or 4 days from work.
Oh, okay.
So obviously, me being pretty close to her, I was concerned and everything. But after she came back, she looked good.
What
She
a
ended up telling me that,
response.
I guess, over those 4 days, she detoxed pretty well, and she kind of caught
What was the question again?
new sense into why she shouldn't do drugs so
Good for her.
much.
Okay.
And like I said, she looked good. She
How
started
long
looking
do you know
healthy.
her?
So, we kind of were talking, here and there. We hung out a couple times. She came over to the house, and we just kicked back, drink a couple beers, watch movies, stuff like that. Like I said, we did, we took some pain pills here and there on occasion, but then she started bringing heroin over and stuff like
gotcha.
that. And
Okay.
that's, my mom was addicted to methamphetamines when she was, when I was younger. So those hard drugs just kind of scare me a little bit. So that's why I took a step back the first time. I ended up telling her, I was like, hey, for one, I'm dealing with a lot of personal stuff myself right now as it is. I'm a little
Vika,
depressed.
thank you for the $10
I
dono.
think we're moving too
Interrogation
fast.
group
I
watching
think
is
we
so
should,
much fun.
Stop
This is really fun.
talking.
Okay.
And she said, I understand, it's completely
I
fine.
can't believe this is his
no problem,
response. Oh my god.
She said, I'll delete your number.
To
I'll
be
never
honest,
text
maybe
you
in his head
again."
he thinks
And
the
that was the
more
last time
details,
that
the
we
better
texted.
to help with the case.
It was probably 2 or 3 weeks ago,
Okay.
sometime in July.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's one of the things you said was that was the last time that you had contact with her, as far as. I don't want to put words in your mouth, so,
070, thanks for the
you correct
prime.
me
That was the
if
last
I'm
time
wrong.
that I texted her.
Yeah, text or a phone call or a messenger
Yeah.
or anything like that. 2 to 3 weeks ago. Yeah, okay. And then the
I'll
last
ask you an
time.
open-ended
when was the last
question,
time
how was
you
your day?
Saw her.
This is what I
Stream
was
today.
a bit. I didn't tell you the truth when we talked up on fish.
Okay.
Lee doesn't know the extent of the evidence, but he knows the investigators have something, and he now has no choice but to amend his alibi to some degree and give some form of admission. This allows the investigators to get one step closer to a confession, while also keeping the capacity of the evidence hidden until a more critical moment.
Last time I saw her was Wednesday afternoon.
Okay.
I heard that she has been basically telling a lot of people at work that we hooked up a bunch, like a couple days before that, and that she was going to like tell about the whole situation and, you know, try to get me fired. And
Then
things
why
like
why
that.
would that get you fired?
Well,
I don't
I'm a manager and she's an employee. So I mean,
okay, so you guys aren't supposed to fraternize?
Yeah.
Or, okay, I got you.
And she just told people, I guess, that she was out with that work at the restaurant that we were having sex.
Okay.
I pulled in the parking lot. She pulled in a little bit after me. I parked, and I said, "Hey, can I talk to you for a second?" And she said, "Yeah, what's up?" And I was like, "I heard you've been saying some things about me and you continuing to hang out, and you know that we're boyfriend and girlfriend." And she asked me, she said, "Can I come sit in the car? Because I just did some heroin and I'm a little paranoid."
Heroin doesn't make you feel paranoid. It makes you extremely relaxed and oblivious to your surroundings. Some might argue that heroin can cause paranoia depending on the user, yet Savannah was driving moments earlier and was about to start a shift at work. If she was using, she most certainly wasn't the type to get paranoid.
Okay.
I said, "Why are you doing that? You know, you're doing really well. You shouldn't have been doing that."
Okay.
And so she came and sat in the car, and I explained to her the situation. I told her that servers at Bonefish were coming to me and telling me that you're telling people when you're out that we're still having sex and we're boyfriend and girlfriend. And I said, I would appreciate, you know, I need you to stop because for one, it's jeopardizing my job. We agreed to, you know, stop talking mutually and just move on and, you know, be cordial or whatever. But it was nothing more than that. And she said, "Fuck you, you know, you're a piece of shit." And I said, she said she's going to keep telling lies and stuff about me and everything like that. And at that point,
Lee has just tried to cover his tracks as much as possible without giving away anything incriminating. He may have thought a witness saw him at the scene with Savannah and was most likely hoping the verbal argument was the extent of what was seen. He therefore gives away this detail in an attempt to come across as truthful. Yet as we know, the investigators have proof that Savannah never got out of the car, and he's about to lock himself into his second lie, which is exactly what the detectives want.
she had her phone in her hand. She got out of the car and walked towards the main entrance from San Jose.
So, like, if
So this is
Ooh, she did now get out of car.
I wouldn't say she was walking along the edge of the plaza, but she was walking maybe towards this way. And I would say an older model Ford pickup, green, drove past me and around.
Put the cuffs
And
on
she
him at
got
this
in.
point? No.
The suspect has
I
now
want more
thrown away his
juice.
best possible defense, which would have been that he drove away
There's
from the
just
parking
something
lot with
about
Savannah,
hearing
and that she
all the
got out at
bullshit
another
they can
destination
spew
where they then
when you know
parted
the
ways.
truth.
If he had known about the surveillance footage, this would have no doubt been his
Let me
revised
hear
narrative,
more.
but it's no longer possible due to this fabrication. This is now his stated alibi under caution, and any amendments that he might try to make at a later stage will have no credibility whatsoever.
so she gets out of the back seat and begins walking in the direction of, not necessarily paralleling San Jose, but she's walking towards 295 or down towards that entrance area.
Yeah.
And then she's got her phone, and you said you thought she was calling somebody?
The detective knows this alibi is completely fabricated, so you might be wondering why he's inquiring into it further. The truth is that he's not actually inquiring, only pretending to. The suspect's responses to these questions are of no importance, and the detective is not information gathering. He's simply getting the suspect to let his guard down as much as possible by making him think that he is being believed. As the suspect continues to convey this made-up narrative, his anxiety will slowly diminish. His belief that he is fooling the detectives will increase, and his heightened state of mind will decrease as a result. This is a well-known strategy, and the reason for this strategy is because the detective is about to initiate the first confrontation. He wants to catch the suspect completely off guard.
She had it in her hand and looked like, I mean, I couldn't tell if she was texting or not or anything.
But she had her phone out.
Yeah, she had her phone out and was looking at it, and then it looked like she was going to put it up to her ear, and then the green truck came around.
Okay.
And
how long do you think it was between the time that she got out and started using her phone till that green truck pulled up?
This goes on for roughly 90 seconds, and Rodarte appears to be considerably more at ease.
295 all the way to Beach Boulevard. Beach Boulevard to
Beach Boulevard
Grove
sounds
Park.
like such a pretty lane, by the way.
How long does that usually take you? Depending on traffic, obviously.
Or street.
I think it usually takes me about 25 minutes or so.
Okay. What happened to your neck?
We see a very sharp and very sudden switch. The suspect is taken from feeling assured to once again feeling threatened. It's believed that when the immediate shift from one emotion to the next is so extreme, a suspect can become disoriented, and their ability to think critically can be affected. In other words, it's much harder for them to think up lies on the spot or fabricate emotion in a convincing manner.
That was self-inflicted, actually.
After a long, nervous breath, he takes 3 seconds to respond, yet somewhat saves himself with the answer. The fact he stated his injuries were self-inflicted could give reason for the nervous breath and his hesitation to respond, as self-harm is a taboo subject, and some might be embarrassed or even ashamed to admit to it. The detective recognizes this and immediately puts him back on the spot.
Why?
I just have been having kind of a hard time.
To your neck?
I couldn't.
The first interjection from the female detective. She alludes to the fact that the neck is an unusual place for a self-inflicted injury, essentially stating that she's not buying it, but also refrains from applying too much pressure, which is being saved for a more pivotal moment at a later stage.
Yeah, I did. And
What did you use?
a knife.
For your neck? Wow.
Some time in July.
You did that in July and it's still
Yeah.
bloody?
Well, I kind of peeled the scab here and there at work, hitting it on stuff like that. I peeled it last night working.
Probably not the best advertisement for the Bonefish Grill if their head chefs are peeling their scabs off at work. But then again, the wounds are more than likely a fresh injury from his struggle with Savannah, and they hadn't been peeled off at all.
And it was coming off later today, so I peeled that a little bit.
Shit.
All right, let me see.
But this was the same night. This one was just a lot worse
Yeah.
than this one was.
Okay. And that was in July?
Yeah, that's gross.
Okay. Like a few weeks back.
Yeah.
Okay. When she's in the car, what does she say to you about what her plans are? So she's scheduled to work that night.
Mm-hmm.
So she's going to work?
She didn't talk about, I assumed she was going to work.
Mm-hmm.
She was in her uniform. But she didn't say, when she got out of the car, she didn't say anything after she got out of the car.
They further reinforce his confidence by going back to his narrative of the truck and allow him to convey the story in more meticulous detail. They are once again giving him a false sense of security, only to use it against him at the opportune moment.
And she gets in that truck. Let's be honest, we won't even call her she, Savannah. Okay? Savannah, again, with this picture, if we're using it in the same place, from where your drawing was, they drove over here. You're here, and they drive out over here. Do they stop? Does she get out and go into work? Does the truck keep going?
I didn't see once they turned the corner past the ATM.
Mm-hmm.
Once she got in and they left, I left.
You
because
left.
I just...
Did you run into them on the road anywhere?
No.
This guy's the manager? I thought he was
Did
just
she
the head
call you
chef.
later on or text you later
His
on?
manager
Savannah?
too?
Mm-hmm. No other contact with her.
No.
So where's Savannah right now?
I don't
He's
know.
both.
Where would I find her?
I don't know.
This is a far more aggressive
Got it.
confrontation. It's essentially an accusation that the
forgot what
suspect is
they
involved
said.
in Savannah's disappearance. Innocent subjects will usually reciprocate this aggression and
'Cause I
respond
was
to this
like,
type
oh,
of
so he's
question
like
with
her
a question
boss,
of their
and then
own,
someone
such
in
as,
chat was
"Why are
like,
you
he's a
asking me
head
that?"
chef.
Or, "What are you trying to say?" They would openly recognize and refute the allegation, most often in a forceful manner. Lee had no emotional response whatsoever, nor an ounce of shock.
He's
He
not
answered the
head chef
question with a
manager
composed
anymore. He's in
demeanor,
jail.
almost as if he knew
Okay,
it was coming.
motherfucker,
It lets the
spoiling
detectives
ass.
know he was
No one
anticipating some
asked
type of blunt
that.
confrontation.
That's my prime
You didn't need to say that. All right.
objective is to find
Come
her.
on.
I think time's running out on her. I want to find this girl. I need to find her.
I understand.
And here's a couple reasons I need to find her. One is
Some people,
I'm
man.
hoping that she's still alive. And that's really, I really do, I'm holding out for that. And if she's not alive, then I think she and her family are due that knowledge. I think
Closure.
I think they need some closure. Because I think the reality is if somebody's, dead somewhere, a parent would want to know. I think do you have kids?
No.
Okay, so one day when you have kids, the uncertainty is whatever kind of a person she is. And I'm not about to say what kind of person
Fliss88,
she is.
thanks to the prime. Thank
Because
you.
I'm not making any judgments. I'm
Thank
saying
you.
that this human being is, if she's
Yeah, he's
alive,
spoiled
then
for
I
all
want to
the
find her.
lurkers,
I need to make sure
too.
she's okay because several days now
could
she hasn't been around. Things happen to the human body, and people can't stand a lot of things that can transpire. But the other thing is, if she's not, this family deserves better than this. This family deserves better than somebody who works with her and who's got knowledge and won't tell the police because they're worried about their own ass. Because that's pretty cheap. I'm gonna be honest with you. And
I agree.
your feelings in it, I don't really care about your feelings. What I care
Ooh.
about is finding her. So where is she?
I don't know where she is.
Where is Savannah?
I don't know.
I need to know where Savannah is so I
I
can
don't
let her
know
family
where
know.
she is.
You don't know because you had something done with her and you weren't involved in that part? I don't know. Tell me something. What can I work with?
I told you the last time I saw her.
But that's not true because we have proof.
This moment would have been rehearsed
Ooh.
multiple times before the interrogation started. The investigators would have planned who would reveal the surveillance to the suspect, and at roughly what moment. The suspect had been confronted multiple times, and the situation was now fully transparent,
Here
yet
we
he continued
go.
to maintain his innocence by clinging on to his narrative. It becomes evident that he isn't going to budge, so the female detective takes the initiative. She reveals their final and most substantial piece of evidence for the purpose of maximizing the pressure.
We have proof. And that's why we're sitting here, Lee. At this point, we need this for her. I mean, I look at that little girl and I think of my little girl. My little girl who's her age. That's who I think about. That was my little girl. I couldn't imagine. I don't care what she said about you or whatever, but my little girl is that age.
Maybe
And you're not telling the truth.
Maybe something gets out of hand in the car.
I didn't do anything.
Okay, you didn't do
Okay,
anything, but she was
okay.
in your car. She never got out of your car.
Go off,
She never got out of
sis.
your car.
She's
Lee?
a little
We're not saying
attached,
that you
though.
did anything. I'm trying to find her. I didn't say you
I
did
don't know
anything.
where she
But
is.
go
Well,
off,
we can
sis.
prove that you left with her in the car. So please, do everybody a
this.
favor and just tell us.
Where is she?
I don't
You
know.
got to be
Fuck
able
you, Lee.
to be able to separate. We're not sitting here saying you did anything to her. I don't know. She's on drugs. Maybe she
Yeah, it
passed.
could
I don't
be.
know.
I watched
I'm not in that
another
car
one of
with you
these,
guys.
and like sometimes
I know
they
that she's
like
in that car with you.
try
I
to
have proof
be
of all of this.
Okay, let me ask you, Lee,
emotional
tell
and
us
try
now
to get
if
them
you're being an honest man.
emotionally.
Are you being honest?
Yes.
Okay, well then, let's start being honest. She never got out of your back seat, Lee. She never got out of your back seat. Video cameras don't lie.
Lee,
How do you know? How do you think I know this information, Lee? I wasn't there, but a video camera caught it.
tell me what happened.
I don't know.
What happened to her?
Oh my god.
Was it an overdose? Is that what happened? I don't know. I'm not in the car with you guys.
Why is she so
You just
frantic?
said she
I
was
think
in
it's
your
a
car and
strat.
she had
It could be a
admittedly
strat.
had done heroin.
This is a cross between the how and why solution and the alternative question. Both are used to lower the gauge of admission for the purpose of getting one foot in the door, which will then become the new foundation for building the case. The how and why solution essentially blames the victim, while at the same time minimizes the motivations behind the crime. The alternative question plants a seed in the suspect's mind, where they are given an alternative and far more morally accepting choice for what happened. It's a smart move, yet the suspect doesn't fall for it on this occasion.
Bodies overdose all the time. Is that what happens? Does she overdose?
Okay, well, tell us when you left with her in the car, because that is what is shown. We can't make up that. We can't falsify a video camera, Lee. I'm not lying to you, because you know I'm telling the truth, because you know that's what's on the video. How else would I know that? I don't, unless I have the video. Where did you go with her?
I didn't go anywhere with her.
You did.
No.
You did. So the video camera's lying?
I don't know this. I mean,
Well, I'm telling you.
The surveillance footage was no doubt incriminating evidence, yet wouldn't close out a case on its own that easily. The investigators need a confession, and continue to apply pressure in a relentless manner. They attack the suspect's character, while simultaneously appealing to his sense of morality.
I'm telling you, I'm not lying to you. I'm not making that up. That's why I'm so passionate about this. This is someone's child. You might not have kids, but damn it, she's someone's kid. We're fact finders, Lee. I don't have anything personal against you.
No, not at all. I mean, it's
We're
over.
just fact
Just
finders.
tell us
We're
what
just
happened.
doing
Where
our
is she?
job. No. Where did you go with her? Where did you go with her, Lee? Be a human. You're a human. You're a man. Where did you go with her? I know you're not that cruel inside. Seriously. Where did you go with her?
Maybe you
Please.
maybe you don't know where she is now. Where did you go with her?
Please. I'm begging you, Lee. Please. Please tell us. Please don't make us waste any more of our time. Just tell us.
Yeah, holy fuck.
Please tell us. Please. I'm begging you. I know you're not evil. Just tell us where she is. I'm begging you. Please. Please. Can you please just tell me? Where did you go with her then? Can you
At least tell us that.
at least tell us that part? Where did you go with her afterwards? She didn't get out of your car, and you know that obviously because I
and
know
we do
that.
too. That's why we were here.
Yeah, you tell him. You tell him.
Just tell us where. Where did you go with her?
Don't
tell us
call
that.
this detective
At
a
least point us
drama
in that
queen.
direction.
Bitch.
I owe her family. We've been. No one's. We're not saying anything that you intentionally did anything. Just tell us where you went.
When y'all left out of there, you went down Clare Lane, you made a left from San Jose about to 295, and you get up on 295. Okay. Where else did you go before you went home? I mean, I know you eventually went home,
I
but...
didn't go anywhere. I went straight home.
Okay, so what did y'all do when you got home? Savannah was with you. She was with you. And that's okay at that point, but I need to know where did she go from there? Is she still at your house?
No.
Okay. Is she still in your car?
No.
Okay. Well, then where is she?
I don't know where she is.
Okay, then where did you last drop her off at?
I didn't drop her off.
Okay, well then tell me.
What happened? Where'd you guys go?
We went to my house.
This is a breakthrough. The
Okay,
investigators
so
have
he's
got Lee
admitting.
to amend his story once more by lowering the
Yeah.
level of admission, and this shows that he can still be influenced. As stated earlier, they were trying to get one foot in the door, which they have
Okay.
now done, and this is their new platform to build on the more damnatory elements.
Finally. Holy
We
shit.
did some jokes.
Okay.
Hung out for a little. And then she said she was going to catch an Uber home.
What was going on in the
Didn't
back
do
seat?
anything to
What was
you know.
going on in the back seat? For the doors to be kicked open. She kicked open that door 3 times, Lee. She kicked it. We saw it. Where's Savannah?
I don't know.
You do know. Lee, we understand.
Push.
Listen, we understand.
We're not trying to hinge you up on anything, man. I'm telling you, I'm thinking about this girl and her family. And your family.
She was serving.
Huh?
Please tell me where to go find her.
I really want to know what he said. He was undeserving?
That's how people
I don't know.
remember you.
I believe.
The released footage of the interrogation tape cuts off at this exact moment. The state's attorney has been contacted by multiple sources to release the next segment, but has so far refused to do so. All we know is that Lee Rodarte admitted to killing Savannah Gold. The only information that is currently released is that he proclaimed to have killed Savannah by breaking her neck. He then took her back to his house where he burned her body in a self-made fire pit, and then dumped her in a lake at the dead end of a secluded road. Savannah had injuries to over 75% of her body. The medical examiner was unable to pinpoint the exact cause of death. The only conclusion was that it was a violent homicide.
Oh my god. Like, why?
The segment of admission was cut, yet the JSO released the footage that came just moments after. It shows a human being experiencing an emotional reckoning so overwhelming, while also trying to process the terrifying nature of his immediate situation.
Yeah, I really want to know the motive. Maybe it'll tell us later. Oh, woe is me, you killed someone. God. Hi, Peener. There's just something annoying when people cry like, oh my god, I'm gonna die in jail. It's like, you fucking killed someone.
You here?
Because you killed someone.
The instant anguish over his decision to confess, combined with the looming prospect of what lays ahead, will have forged a unique emotional distress that very few will ever experience. It's a harrowing sight, and under different circumstances would be extremely difficult for most people to witness. Yet we are now couched within the context of events that led up to this moment, and this will make its observation far more tolerable, but by no means easy.
It's so stupid. Oh, fucking.
Ew. He's only crying for himself. Oh. I mean, there's remorse.
Killed in jail. shit. I'm nice to you.
Yeah.
For somebody who was a bitch to you.
Huh?
Does that make any sense?
Savannah was nice to you. What was bitch to you? What?
It's time you get to wear a chef coat.
Oh, he was a bitch to her.
Not supposed to be you. It's not supposed to be you, Lee. It's supposed to make something of your fucking life. Everything.
Wow.
Places, man.
Please tell me he's saying he.
Fucking head.
Oh, he's talking to himself. I keep thinking he's trying to blame Savannah and I get triggered, but then I realize, oh, wait.
Totally alone.
Lee was remanded into custody and taken to the Duval County Jail where he was denied bond. In spite of the overwhelming evidence against him and the prospect of life in prison without the possibility of parole, he pled not guilty and claimed that Savannah's killing was an act of self-defense, even though he stands at 5'11", weighing 163 pounds, while Savannah was just 5 feet tall and weighed 91 pounds. He claimed that he was in fear of his life after she slapped him multiple times in the face, at which point he grabbed her neck, felt a pop, and realized he had accidentally broke it, resulting in her death. The state's attorney's office had no comment on this motion. All they have stated is that this trial is expected to commence during the summer of 2020.
It's past 2020. Holy fuck. Silent Hakon, thank you for the 8 months. Welcome back to Tato Army. When you're happy, I'm happy. Hair went lighter and content darker. My PC go boom. Need some kind of content. Look, this is good. Wait, okay, so my mod said